Hi guys, welcome to another edition of our ESL lesson with Taka. No. This is Taka, my lovely fill-in fellow. Okay, welcome to another edition of our ESL after such a long time, by the way. Oh, Taka wants to go. Alright, so I'm here again with another very simple lesson, and this time it's just all about the active and passive voice forms. I'll be giving you the complete list of all the forms, both the active and the passive voice forms. Alright, so from the simple to perfect tenses to progressive tenses, and to everything as much as possible. All right, so stay tuned. We got this. Yes, as you can see on the board, you see active and passive voice forms. So I made it simple for you guys and easy learning. So I'll give first the first set. As you can see, I grouped them into simple tenses, progressive tenses, or the continuous tense, and the perfect tense. All right, so I just group it into present and past so that you can compare present and past, present and past, present and past. Okay, for easy learning and for you to remember easily. All right, okay, anyway, on this part of course is the active voice, and then on this part is the passive voice forms. All right, anyway, by the way, this is only a lesson about, or shall we say it's a lesson, but I'm only giving you all the forms of active and passive voice. All right, by the way, the lesson about how to make passive voice sentences are in different videos. All right, I already had some lessons about that, so you can click, or you can go to my main page in my channel and look for passive voice lessons. All right, okay, so to give you of course an idea on how to make passive voice sentences. And of course, in making passive voice sentences, you have to remember the forms, and these are the forms I'm going to talk about, and also including the active forms, of course. All right, now you have the present simple and the past simple first. All right, now in the present simple, you will have either the S form or the base form. You will have the S form if the subject is singular, and you will use the base form if the subject is plural. I also have another video for present simple. All right, now in the passive voice, you will have am, is, are, and then PP. All right, PP is the past participle form, or the third form of the three basic forms of the verbs. All right, okay, now to easily remember the passive voice forms, you have to remember that the passive voice form is always the be verb and the PP form of the main verb, or the past participle form of the main verb. So now the be verb is the be verb tells you what tense is being used, and the PP is always constant. Okay, now am, is, are, of course, because you are talking about present simple, so that's why you have to use am, is, are here, plus the past participle form of the main verb. Now you are going to use am only for the subject I, is for the present, sorry, not for the singular subject, and then are for the plural subject. Okay, now for the past simple, you will either have regular or irregular verb form. You will have, for the regular, it is the verb that ends with D ed or ied. All right, I have separate lessons for that, and as well as the past simple lesson is also in another video. Okay, and irregular verb is, of course, verbs that forms its past and past participle, their past and past participle in different forms aside from, okay, other than rather d, ed, and ied. So for example, go, then in here, the active voice, you're going to use went. Okay, I have a complete list of the irregular verb, by the way, if you want to ask. Okay, just comment down below and I'll give you access to the complete list of the verb form. All right, I also have the complete list of the irregular other verbs in my book, Don't Wrong Your English series. Okay, you can get hold of that if you want to. It is available in Amazon and in other outlets online. Hopefully, I'm working out on making it also available in some bookstores in the Philippines, like the National Bookstore of the National Bookstore. Okay, anyway, now the passive voice. In the present simple, you have to worry about what subject are you going to use, because it will, the be verb will depend on what subject you have, whether you have the subject I, the singular subject, or plural subject. Now in here, you still have to worry about two subjects, the singular and the plural, but then you only have to worry about two kinds of subjects. All right, the singular and plural subject. For the singular subject, you're going to use was, and that includes I, and then were for plural subject, and then of course you're going to have the pp, or the past participle form of the main verb. Okay, it's very easy. So again, was, were plus pp. Okay, again, let's go back to the present simple. The passive voice is am, is, are plus pp, and the past simple, the passive voice form is was, were plus pp. Okay, now let's go to progressive form or the continuous form. For the present progressive, you're going to use am, is, are, and the ing form of the main verb. Okay, as the same as the rule here, of course, for I subject rather, you're going to use am. For singular subject, you're going to use is, and then for plural, you're going to use are. Okay, and then for the passive voice, still you're going to use the be verb am, is, are. This time you're going to have being. Okay, so your be verb form is am, is, are plus being. Being is constant here. All right, and the pp form. Okay. All right, now for the past progressive, you're going to use was for singular subject for the active form, were for plural subject, and then the ing form of the main verb. All right, now for the passive voice, you're going to use was, again for singular subject, were for plural subject, and the same thing, you're going to use being also, and then plus the past participle form of the main verb. Okay, as you can see, that's the difference between the two. All right, so for present progressive, passive voices am, is, are, being plus pp. For past progressive rather, was, were, being plus past participle. All right, okay, is it clear? It's very easy to remember actually. If you already understand how to use or how to make the passive voice, then I guess it will be easy for you to remember the verb forms, or it will help you make passive voice sentences easily if you remember all the verb forms actually. Okay, now let's go to the perfect tenses. All right, for present perfect, you're going to use has here for singular subject, have for plural subject, and then the past participle form. Okay, now in the passive voice, you're going to use has again for singular subject, have for plural subject, and then been this time, and the past participle form. For the past perfect, instead of has or have, you're going to use had this time. You don't have to worry about singular plural subject this time because it will only have one form, had, and then plus participle. For the passive voice, you will have had been plus past participle. Okay, so for tenses where you have to worry about singular and plural subjects are the present simple, past simple, present progressive, past progressive, present perfect, almost all tenses, right? But with the past perfect, you don't have to worry about singular or plural subject because they will have the same forms, both for the active voice and for the passive voice. I mean that you have to remember only one single thing for active voice and one single thing for the passive voice form. Okay, that's the first set. We will move on to the next set. All right, stay tuned, guys. We got this. Now let's have the next set of the active and passive voice phones. All right, the reason being why I divided it into two sets because the first set was a little bit easier to remember compared to the second set. Okay, and also they are easy to group, and the second set is a bit difficult actually to group. Okay, anyway, and also of course, another reason is that I only have a very small board with big lessons, as I have said, okay, as I always say, rather. Okay, so let's have future tenses, all right? So I group into future tenses, and then perfect progressive, and then other things that you have to remember, okay, or other tenses. We actually don't consider them as tenses anyway. Okay, anyway, but they are also considered because you also have to remember both the active, because they have active voice form and passive voice forms as well. Okay, anyway, let's have the future tenses first. So let's have simple, and then progressive, and then the perfect. All right. Anyway, the future simple, you will have will or shall. For all the future tenses, you will either have will or shall. But be careful when using them because nowadays or probably you notice we don't normally hear shall anymore because it's kind of archaic actually expression to use. Okay, well anyway, if you still want to use it, we normally use shall only for subject I, and minimally we use it with subject you. And other subjects you cannot use shall anyway. Okay, anyway, so for the future simple, active voice form is will or shall plus the past participle form. No, not the past participle form. Base form. I made a mistake here. It should be base form. Sorry, guys. Okay, base form. All right. I hope it didn't interrupt your learning anyway. And okay. So that's it. Anyway, what was I saying anyway? So will or shall plus base form, and then the passive voice, that's for the active voice, and then for the passive voice is will, shall, and then you will have the be, okay, and past participle form of the main verb. Okay. Now for the progressive, future progressive, you will have will. Of course, you can also use shall anyway. Be plus the ing form of the main verb, and then in the passive voice you will have will be and then being plus past participle form. Kind of difficult to remember, right? But remember, always remember that the passive voice forms have the be as the tense and then the past participle form of the main verb. It's always be verb, all right, which will change depending on what tense you want to express, all right, and the past participle form. So since you are talking about future progressive, then your be verb must be in future progressive form, which is will be being. And then you add past participle, it will make rather the complete form of the passive voice. All right. Now you have the future perfect. For the future perfect, you will have will, have, okay, you can also use shall, by the way, shall have plus past participle form of the main verb. Now, the passive voice, you will have will have been. plus, being plus past participle form of the main verb. Okay, a little bit long, all right, and maybe a little bit difficult to remember actually, but there's nothing actually to remember. Okay, if you just try to understand how to make the passive voice form, you don't actually have to remember, because just the passive voice is the be plus the past participle. That's it. Be changes according to the tense, according to what tense you're trying to express, and the past participle form. That's it. That's all. Be plus PP. That's the passive voice form. Okay. All right. So you have. Let's go to the next forms or tenses. Present perfect progressive. Present perfect progressive is has, have, been plus ing. Okay. And for the passive voice, of course, you will have has, have, been, being, very long. Okay, because you have to have, since you're talking of present perfect progressive, so your be verb must be also present perfect progressive, as you can see. Has, have, been, being, and then past participle form. Okay, now you will again think that it's difficult to remember. Nothing to remember actually. Just remember, again, the passive voice is be plus the past participle form of the main verb. Okay, that's all you need to, take note of. All right, now for the past perfect progressive, my throat is kind of aching. Had been plus ing. All right, now for the passive, you will have the past perfect progressive form of the be verb, which is had been, being, and then plus the PP form of the main verb. Okay, so those are perfect progressive tenses. All right, now let's go to last two things that you have to remember when making active and passive voice. For the modals, if you happen to not know, if you still don't know rather what modals are, there is a separate lesson for those, or separate lessons for modals. All right, example of modals is can, just for you to easily remember. So can, for the active voice, you will have any modal for that matter, and after the modal is base form. So let's say you have can, so you will have can and then the base form of the main verb. So for example, you say can, you can say can drive. Okay, you have to have the base form of your main verb. Okay, and then for the passive voice, you will have the modal again, of course, plus be this time, and then past participle form. Okay, so can be driven, for example. Okay, now for the infinitive, all right, in the active voice, you will have to and then the base form. Okay, so for example, to drive. Okay, now for the passive voice, you will have to be plus past participle form of the main verb. Okay, so to be driven, for example, if you're using the verb drive. So these are all the things that you need to remember, all right, about the active and passive voices forms of the verbs. All right, again, there is really actually no need to I don't know. Okay, there's nothing to actually remember, or you don't have to really actually memorize them, because all you need to remember is that the be, just one thing, the passive voice is be plus past participle form. The be tells you what tense you are going to use, so that if you want to express present simple tense, then you will have the be, present simple form of be is am, is, are, and then plus the past participle form of the main verb. As easy as that. Okay, all right, we got this. All right, if you have any further questions, this is not interactive, but then you can always comment down below if you have any questions. And thanks for watching, guys, and learning with me, and I hope that you continue to support my channel, especially this section on ESL lessons. All right, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video so that you can share the knowledge you just had now. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks very much. We got this. Kawa. Why? What's the matter? Taka, come here. Taka. Taka. Come here. Come. Taka is here. How much do you weigh, Taka? How much do you weigh? I think you're more than 6 kilos. Oh my God, you cannot fly. You cannot take the plane to the Philippines because you're 6 kilos or more, I think. Oh, very heavy. You're such a heavy fella. Very heavy fella. Look, you're there. Can you see that? Can you see yourself? Can you see yourself? Who's that? Who's that over there? Who's that? You like it? You wanna join with me? You wanna join with me while I'm teaching? You wanna join? What is that? Wanna join? Wanna join? Wanna join? OMG. How's the flea guard on your neck? Is it doing fine? Yeah. So we got rid of all your parasites. Look at yourself, Mom. Look at yourself. Okay, I'll start teaching. I'll start teaching in a bit. You wanna join with me? You wanna join? This is. What are you doing? You like this one? You want like this too? Huh? Imagine you started staying with me together with Ambo and Kawa since July. Since July, right? July, August, September, October, November. 5 months already. That means you're already 6 months old. OMG. You are 6 months old. OMG. 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 Oh my goodness. No. No. Oh, don't. Oh. Don't bite it. Don't bite the microphone. Okay, I will start teaching now. I will start teaching now. So you get down. You get down. Okay? Okay, baby. You get down. You get down. Okay, alright. So are you set, guys? Alright, as you can see on my board, I have active and passive. There's still prayer. OMG. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a... While waiting. Wingardium Leviosa. While waiting. I remember something with this one. Back in 1987, was it 1987? I think so. My aunt was what do you call this? Making fun of me because it was my first time to be wearing necklace. My first time to be wearing necklace, you know, and it was what do you call this? It wasn't a real gold, it was only gold plated. And then I was one of the participants during the commencement exercise, so I wore that while I was dancing. All right, so I was showing off my necklace like this, and my aunt was laughing at me, making fun of me. She was said that I really wanted to. She was telling that I was really showing off my necklace, right? Even though it was just a gold plated. Anyway, can't wear the dice. All right. My aunt, virgin, or by the way. Hi, auntie, if you're watching. Okay, anyway.